The UFC's in Belgrade this weekend. I'm going to go through the entire card, give you guys the notes and style of every single fighter, as well as my best bets and prediction for every single fight, as well as my co-main and main event predictions and breakdowns for the PFL card. They're the two biggest names in the promotion, so I'm going to break those down as well because I'm actually kind of looking forward to them. If you guys want the full betting recap, go and fast forward to this part of the video. Let's get into it. Kicking off the Belgrade card with a real big banger here. Marina Spasic versus Stephanie Luciano. Marina Spasic, she began her MMA career in 2021. She's 7-1 with 6 KOs. She's making her UFC debut. Technically, she's the second women's MMA fighter from Serbia. I guess maybe technically the first, though, because she's the first one fighting. Another girl on the card was the first signed UFC women's MMA fighter from Serbia, but we got some homegrown talent on this one. Her style, she comes from a kickboxing Muay Thai background. That's where she held a majority of her professional bouts were in Muay Thai and kickboxing. Once she gets momentum, she will start to walk her opponents down and really start to pick up the volume. She does start a bit slow, though, and if you're able to sting her early, you can really kill the momentum for her. Her opponent, Stephanie Luciano, she's a 5-1 champ from the regional scene, had a draw in the Dana White Contender Series, gets a contract, and so far she's 2-1 coming off of a finish in her last fight. Her style, slow and awkward on the feet, doesn't look very crisp, but she has shown really good wrestling and BJJ ability in the past. My prediction for this one, I'll take Luciano to get it done via round 1 submission. This is a tricky one. I really have no idea betting-wise. Let's go ahead and not touch this one. I'm a bit confused because on the feet, I think Spasic looks better, and Stephanie Luciano should definitely try and implement grappling early. If she's not able to do that, I would favor Spasic. I think she's a much better pure striker, but it is MMA. Luciano is an experienced UFC girl. She has, like I said, 3 fights and was coming off of a finish. Marina Spasic hasn't really fought in anyone yet, so I'll take Stephanie Luciano to take her down, find the submission in round 1. Not very confident in this one. Please don't bet on this. Please, you guys, please. It'll be like 9 in the morning Eastern time. We're just getting this thing started. Let it breathe. Just let it breathe. But I'll take Luciano to get it done via round 1 sub. Next up, we got a heavyweight bout, Jovan Leka versus Alexander Poppeck. Jovan Leka went 10-2 on the regional scene, got a decision win on the Contender Series, no contract. Picked up a couple more finishes on the regional scenes. Now he's getting his UFC debut in his home country of Serbia. You're going to hear that a little bit today. His style, below average heavyweight athlete with bad cardio and bad defensive grappling. Has tons of power in his hands and can wrestle offensively, land some ground and pound. But as long as he's the hammer, moving forward, implementing his grappling, he does just fine. He's also got heavyweight power for sure. Some of these shots that he lands can really turn the lights off. But he's not a very complete guy, and the athleticism isn't really all that there. His opponent, Alexander Poppeck, he's been fighting professional MMA since 2013. Bounced around promotions, had an L in PFL, on their version of the Contender Series. Then he landed in Octagon, where he's done really well. He's on a 4-fight win streak so far and holds a record of 21-5 as a light heavyweight. This is his first fight going up to heavyweight. His style, lower output striker, moves really well on his feet, pretty sound defensively, likes to blitz forward in exchanges, and has shown good takedown defense up to this point. My prediction for this one, I will take Alexander Poppeck to get it done via round 3 TKO. Jovan Leka is a big favorite here. I think Jovan Leka in round 1, odds aren't really all out for these, so if the odds aren't showing for some of these, I apologize. But Poppeck moneyline at plus 190, I think this is great. You know, he will be at a size disadvantage. This is his first time going into heavyweight, but he's going to move so much better. The lighter man skill in this one is going to be crazy. If he can just avoid, the dangerous exchanges with Jovan Leka and move around well enough, I think he'll outclass him, tire him out. And even when Jovan Leka gets takedowns, it's not like he's always ground and pound finishing. So there's potentially wears himself out, and I think that's what's going to happen. Poppeck moves around really well. We see Leka start to fade, and that's when Poppeck is going to take over and find this one via late round finish. I'll take him, and at plus money, it's a pretty good bet. Not overly confident in any of this, but just from what I've seen, I like Poppeck, and I like his value as well. Our third fight and our third Serbian fighter matchup in this one, Nina Milosevic versus Hailey Cohen. Nina Milosevic loses her first ever pro fight via split decision, but since then she's been on an 8-fight win streak. She has 5 finishes as well. Making her UFC debut, she is technically the first women's MMA fighter from Serbia. She signed first. She's not going to be the first on the mat because the other Serbian girl is fighting as well, but she was the first one technically to sign, I think. Her style, kind of an absolute dog. Very well-rounded fighter though. Not the cleanest or very skilled, but just has some really heavy hands. Comes to scrap. I really like what I saw from her. She's super entertaining, and she's got a chance to actually be a pretty decent prospect too. Her opponent, Hailey Cohen, She went 6-2 on the regional scene after getting a UFC contract in her Dana White Contender Series win. Since joining the UFC, though, she is 0-3. She's getting finished in both of her last 2 fights. Her style, not really sure what she does. This is tough. I thought she had pretty good offensive wrestling, but turned out not really. A 19-year-old Alice Pereira stuffed her takedowns and then left her face down on the mat with a knee to the face. Just fairly unskilled women's MMA fighter. That's got some dog in her. She'll scrap it out, but I mean, it's tough. It's a tough go for Hailey Cohen. Probably not UFC level, and probably not going to be in the UFC for very long after this one. My prediction for this one, give me Nina Milosevic, get it done via round 2 TKO. Her KO decision line at -145 is a great way to kind of extend the value here. I'm not seeing a submission from her. She is a more stand and bang type fighter. She does have submissions in the past, and I guess if one presents itself, she'll take it. She has the skill to do so. But I think she's just a much better fighter, especially in the stand-up. We just saw Hailey Cohen get outclassed by a 19-year-old Alice Pereira, who I think is a pretty good fighter. But I think there's just nothing that Hailey Cohen has shown me to make me want to pick her in this one. I'll take Milosevic, and the value at -145. This is something we can bet on. This is something we can bet on, you guys. This is a good value. So I'll take her, and like I said, there's good value there as well. No Serbians in this one, but a good one nonetheless. Mateusz Rebecki versus Kyle Prepolec. Mateusz Rebecki, he had a huge run on the regional scene, became a champ, defended it 6 times before finally getting a shot on the Contender Series, gets a win there. In the UFC, he's 4-4, struggles really coming of late. He's 1-4 in his last 5, despite facing really solid competition. He's not losing to cans. He's just kind of struggling to overcome a certain level of fighter in the UFC. Regardless of that, his style, he is an absolute dog. He comes to scrap every time. He'll take tons of damage. He's also super undersized, has good grappling skill, but major fight IQ question marks. He had his last fight won against Grant Dawson back at UFC 328, I believe, on the Khamzat Chimaev card. He had the fight won. He was winning on the feet, forces grappling exchanges where he wasn't winning the fight at all, and ends up getting submitted. That's a big question mark. I don't love that. It's almost like he tries to force grappling too much. He does have pretty good hands, and this dude's a tough guy. He can withstand exchanges in the pocket because of how tough he is, and he gets off good shots. He has good power of his own. His opponent, Kyle Prepolec, he went 14-5 on the regional scene, gets a shot in the UFC, and he's 0-2 in the original stint. Then he got 4 more wins and then a loss on the regional scene, gets re-signed to the UFC, and now he's 0-2 in his second stint. If you want to do some quick math, that means he's 0-4 in the UFC so far. His style, athletic kickboxer, will throw some decent high kicks, has struggled to get going a lot in his fights. It's like he just can't find that momentum ever in any of his fights. He's got pretty weak anti-grappling as well. My prediction for this one, go ahead and give me Mateusz Rebecki to get it done via round 2 sub. I think Rebecki money line at -650 is good enough value, not necessarily something great. Maybe a decent parlay builder, but that's a really big favorite for somebody that I don't know if I'm I do think this is a lock, just not enough value there for me to be really all in on this one. I think Prepolec is going to have to use his size and length in this one. He's just not shown me anything. Similar to Hailey Cohen, you haven't won in the UFC. Yeah, you're going to have certain advantages in certain stages of this fight, but Mateusz Rebecki has shown that he's a really tough dude. He's a scrapper, and he can beat UFC level guys, and I don't think Kyle Prepolec is that. So give me Rebecki to get it done, and the fight not to go the distance as well, as at -180 is good value. Yeah, I'm taking Mateusz Rebecki here big time. Dennis Buzukja and Bogdan Grad is up next. Bogdan Grad, anyone else noticed? There was a full head of blonde hair he's been hiding this whole time. He's been shaving it all off. He's like Terra chatting now in his most recent picture. I couldn't get it up there because I'm recording it too early, but guy's changed up his look, and I'm liking it. Dennis Buzukja had some regional scene fights, and then he goes on the Contender Series and loses, comes back later and gets a win, but no contract, gets 3 straight wins, and then joins the UFC, but since has gone 1-4, getting finished in 2 of his 4 losses. His style, just a far too conservative striker with some decent technical abilities, but can just never do enough to create his own moments. At most, it's just answers defensively. He can do some good work counter-striking, but just offensively and implementing his own game, I think that's where he struggles. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or just a lack of skill, but he just seems to always be overly conservative and never really be able to get it going. His opponent, Bogdan Grad, he went into the Dana White Contender Series 7-1 from the regional scene, lost to Tom Nolan. No shame in that, brother. Tom Nolan's a great fighter. Works his way back to the Dana White Contender Series. He gets a win and started his career 2-0. But since then, he's lost 2 really solid prospects. His most recent fight was him getting his head spun like a top against Luke Riley, who is one of the best, if not the best, undefeated, unranked prospects at featherweight. I know there's a ton there, so maybe that's a hot take. But regardless, he's a talented guy nonetheless. His style, on the feet, he's light and athletic, switch stances constantly, throws a wide range of shots, and has a solid grappling base as well. He will leave himself open to shots and does not have a great chin. I think he's been finished in both of his most recent fights, if I didn't already just say that. So there's a concern there. My prediction for this one, I'll take Bogdan Grad to get it done via decision. He's not a big-time finisher, so I wouldn't rely on that, but I think Bogdan Grad is a -205 favorite for a reason. I favor him pretty much everywhere the fight goes. On the feet, he's much lighter. He moves well. I think Buzukja will have a slight size advantage, but Bogdan Grad is a really solid fighter. I like the Buzukja under on significant strikes. I just don't know if he's going to do enough over the course of 15 minutes. And Bogdan Grad, Lord have mercy, I'm struggling with that one. He can find a finish in this one for sure. I'm playing it safe and going decision because Buzukja has shown some toughness at times, and Bogdan Grad, like I said, isn't the biggest finisher. So I'll take him to get it done via decision. And him at -205 is great value as well. That can be something that you can use to build parlays. I didn't include it in my very end recap video, so if you're watching this one, this may be a little sneak peek bonus. I do like that, just not enough to maybe put it into the graphic at the end, but that is great value at -205, so I'll take him to get it done via decision. I've been saying this recently in some fights, and I've been right up to this point. I think this one's the people's main event, Mark Vologdin and Borislav Nikolic. Mark Vologdin goes on the Contender Series as a 12-3 fighter and has one of the best scraps of all time. Legitimately one of my favorite fights ever. Vologdin had this like huge gash over his eye. He kept going, kept fighting, super scrappy. The fight was so good, Vologdin lost and still got a contract, and Dana White gave them both a $25K bonus, which like never happens on the Contender Series. He draws in his UFC debut against Jonathan Castaneda because his balls got destroyed. If his balls didn't get destroyed, he probably would have lost the fight. Or not even probably, he would have lost the fight. But I fucking love Mark Vologdin, you guys. His style, super undersized striker that's always in entertaining fights. Relies a lot on explosivity, will take one to give one. But he has an insane chin and durability. He knows he's undersized. He'd be undersized for like a flyweight, and he's a bantamweight. He's only 5'3". But he does a good job of overcoming that size disadvantage in semi-non-traditional ways. His opponent, Borislav Nikolic, 16-2 fighter from the regional scene, making his UFC debut. He's a Brave FC champ that has not lost since 2022. He is also taking this fight on short notice. His style, big guy for bantamweight that is also only in bangers. A little reckless and sloppy on the feet, but has power. Far more dangerous on the ground where he has really nasty sub-game. My prediction for this one, yeah, there's probably a little bit of bias, but I will take Mark Vologdin to get it done via decision. This is going to be a banger. This has got Fight of the Night written all over it. But for me, what I've noticed about Borislav Nikolic is he's so used to being in these 5-round fights where he can use the first 2 rounds, 3 rounds to kind of wear on his opponent. And then in the later rounds, find those takedowns and submissions. In his last 3 fights, he started really slow and has looked pretty bad in the first at least 2 rounds of all 3 of his most recent fights. I think Vologdin is just going to do enough to get it done. He always comes out strong. Nikolic also struggles a lot with blitzes, and that's Vologdin's game completely. I think it's a good stylistic matchup. It's a 3-round fight. I think a lot is playing in Vologdin's favor. If it was a 5-round fight, I think it'd be a lot different, but it's not. For that reason, I'm going to take Mark Vologdin. Once again, people's main event, 100% fight of the night. I'm predicting it right now. There is a lot of good scraps with potential on this one, but I like this one a lot. I'll take Vologdin to get it done via decision, and his money line at plus money at plus 155. That's some great value. Next up, we got Michael Oliveira and Oban Elliott. Oban Elliott, he went 7-2 over in Cage Warriors before going on the Dana White Contender Series, where he got a decision win and a contract. Starts off his UFC career 3-0, but since then has lost 2 in a row, getting finished in his last fight at UFC 325, in a fight that he actually was winning almost every second of until he got finished by John M. Mikolev. His style, he's an undersized guy that has quick hands and will throw well in combination, but can struggle against length and struggles to stay sharp defensively throughout the course of an entire fight. He will have lapses at times. He usually has very solid control grappling, though, which is where he'll kind of set the baseline for the fight. But if you have good scrambling ability, he will kind of struggle to find an overall rhythm. Unless he's in complete control of the fight, he will struggle at times. Michael Oliveira, his opponent, he's an undefeated prospect from LFA that got a win on the last season of Dana White Contender Series in a really brutal KO. Had a really good story, too, I believe. I didn't actually go back and watch that part of the episode, but I do remember, like, texting my friend about this guy because he would just, like, star potential type stuff from Michael Oliveira. He has 9-0 with 8 KOs. His style, powerful striker with really good length. Stays in a low, wide stance and will just stalk down his opponents until he finds the shot. Nothing super unconventional. Like I said, he's just kind of got like this wide, low stance, will hunt down his opponents. He is pretty susceptible to low kicks. And it took him a sec to get rolling in his last fight. It's not been a big theme, but enough that I've noticed it a little bit. So that is important to note. My prediction for this one, I like Oban Elliott. I do, but I'm going to take Michael Oliveira to get it done via round 1 KO. I think this fight, there is a high value straight in here of Oban Elliott decision at plus 500, just because Michael Oliveira, it is his debut. Who knows what the moment's going to be like for him. And Oban Elliott has faced pretty decent opponents within the UFC. Not overly confident here, but I will take Michael Oliveira to get it done. He's just so powerful. I find it hard to believe that he's not going to find the shot. Excuse me. But the two bets here, Oliveira KO at minus 135 and Elliott decision at plus 500 is a great way. Kind of duel that one out and get value either way out of both of those outcomes. To round out the prelims, we got a pretty good fight at 155, Ludovit Klein and Tofiq Musayev. Ludovit Klein, he had a big regional scene run before signing with the UFC in 2020. He started off pretty slow, but he's won 8 of his last 9. His only loss was a decision loss to Mateusz Gamrot in that weird main event in the Apex that wasn't even supposed to be a main event, just kind of ended up being a 3-round main event. He got injured in his last fight at UFC 321, so it's been a minute since he fought, but he was an absolute banger then. His style, tough and crafty striker that isn't afraid to enter the pocket and deal the more damaging blows in the exchange. Takedown defense is not elite by any means, but usually holds up well enough where, unless he's facing an elite grappler, he's able to keep the fight standing and do a pretty good job there. His opponent, Tofiq Musayev, he had a big regional scene run where he became champion over in Ryzen, signs with the UFC, and then loses to Mitebek Oralbai in a loss that's aged not too bad. It was a catchweight bout. He was pretty undersized at a big size disadvantage in there. But then he bounced back in his most recent fight against Ignacio Bahamondes, where he got a pretty dodgy win. I hate this guy. Maybe we'll get into it later. His style, light and explosive striker that's aging, but still moves pretty well. Can rely on grappling at times, mostly when he's just cheating and trying to get this guy's a disgusting, dirty cheat. I hate him. The only reason why he beat Ignacio Bahamondes was from a headbutt and grabbing the cage to avoid getting finished. I cannot believe that fight hasn't been overturned, to be quite honest. Tofiq Musayev is as dirty as it comes. He lost. I mean, I'm still coping because I picked Ignacio Bahamondes and I think I put him as like a parlay leg. I probably lost money. That it's not about the money. Okay, it's about the principle. And this guy's a dirty fucking cheat. My prediction for this one, fuck you, Tofiq Musayev. I'm taking Ludovit Klein to get it done via decision. This is actually a close fight, a pretty 50-50 one. Moneyline wise, I don't really want to bet against Tofiq Musayev again because I feel like I'd just be feeding into his. I don't know. I don't like the energy there. So I'm just taking the fight to go on over 2.5 rounds because I think this one will be a decision. Neither of these guys are big-time finishers. They're also pretty durable as well. Tight matchup. I just think Ludovit Klein over the course of 3 rounds will do a good enough job keeping the fight standing, not allowing the blitzes and speed of Tofiq Musayev to get to him. Just lay more crafty shots. It's a toss-up, though. If you want to take Tofiq Musayev, all power to you. I'm going to rock with Ludovit Klein here. For some reason, this is on the main card to kick it off. I don't know. But Milos Janicic versus Noah Gunyan. Who knows? These guys, who knows? Milos Janicic, he's 29-year-old, 19-3 guy from the regional scene making his UFC debut. He most recently fought in dirty boxing and has some other kickboxing and bare knuckle fights throughout his career. The style of him, he's an open, light striker that can be tricky to track down. He just can't grapple at all. I mean, like I said, the dude's been fighting in bare knuckle, fought in dirty boxing. Not a whole lot of MMA, but he has enough. his opponent, Noah Gunyan. He's a 25-year-old 9-2 prospect from Aries FC, where he's most recently fought over there. He has a 100% finishing rate in all of his wins, and he's making his UFC debut. The style of Noah Gunyan has a more patient technical approach on the feet, but he is a complete fighter that can wrestle and has submission ability. He's shown it before in the past. He has, I think, 3 or 4 submission wins out of his 9 wins. My prediction for this one, I'll take Noah Gunyan to get it done via round 1 sub. I don't think Milos Janicic can grapple whatsoever. I haven't seen it once. Like, has he defended a takedown? I don't know. The MMA film of him is from years ago because he's been doing fucking bare knuckle. So, I mean, but I'm glad, I'm glad he's signed to the UFC. We're spending money putting him into the UFC and not some other PFL fighters that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But, in terms of MMA, I think the guy who has more recent MMA fights is probably going to be better at MMA. So I'll take Noah Gunyan to get it done via round 1 sub. Hopefully I don't sound like a jackass and Milos goes out and flatlines this kid. I think Milos can actually probably get it done if he just allows himself not to get taken down and moves well on his feet and just kind of peppers him up with shots. I just don't see it happening. Hopefully Noah Gunyan wins, or else I'm going to sound a bit like I don't know shit. So, I'm going to rock with Noah Gunyan. Like I said, I think he's a better MMA fighter. So give me him to get it done via round 1 sub. We're starting to heat up a little bit. Alexander Rakic versus Marcin Tybura. Alexander Rakic came into the UFC on a 7-fight win streak from the regional scene. Rolls with 4 straight wins to start his UFC career. Was one of the top light heavyweight contenders. Injured his knee and has kind of fallen apart. He's lost 4 in a row. This is his first fight moving up to heavyweight, though, so we'll see how he looks there. His style, lengthy, athletic kickboxer, really good footwork, but a very bad chin. That's been kind of the story of his career. Just can't really take a whole lot of damage. He was doing very well against Yuri Prochazka until he got finished. He was doing well against a lot of fighters before he gets finished. Marcin Tybura, his opponent, he's been a really solid UFC heavyweight, only losing to pretty good comp outside of his last fight. I don't think Tyrell Fortune's good comp, but he lost there. Outside of that loss, though, he's always been a pretty decent ranked heavyweight through the majority of his career. Seems to be slowing down as he gets older. He is 40 years old, and that is worth noting. His style, complete fighters with skill everywhere, but very awkward, very plotty as well. Does not move well. Just finds really crafty ways to kind of get it done. In the grappling and striking, very awkward style. It's kind of tough to describe, but plotty and crafty are kind of the 2 best words to describe. My prediction for this fight, tricky here because there is some concern with Rakic and his chin, especially going up a weight class now. But I will take him to get it done via round 1 KO. Maybe round 1 KO is a little bit ambitious, but I think if he's going to win, it is probably going to be this way. The lighter man skill in this one's going to go crazy. Alexander Rakic also has, I think, a height and reach advantage on him as well, despite formerly being a light heavyweight. Just athletically, Marcin Tybura is going to be at such a disadvantage. I don't think he's able to get it done. I think Rakic starts dancing around him, lands some good high kicks, things like that. A Tybura KO because the chin is pretty bad on Rakic. At plus 900, I don't hate as a high-value straight, but the Rakic money line at minus 340 also makes pretty good sense and can be pretty good value there. So I'll take Rakic to get it done via round 1 KO. It's a bit of a funky one, but I'm down for it. Vlasto Chepo versus Gilbert Urbina. Vlasto, 14-3 fighter from Octagon, making his UFC debut, has a 100% finishing rate in all 14 of his wins. He's coming off of a 2-fight round 1 KO streak as well. His style, so much fun. This dude, the second the bell rings, will march forward and just starts throwing wild, powerful shots, looping hooks, does not matter, constantly entering range, immediately on the gas. He is pretty inaccurate, and the cardio is kind of questionable because we haven't really seen him enter later rounds before, and he usually loses via decision, so there is a concern there. His opponent, Gilbert Urbina, goes 5-1 on the regionals, losing to Sean Brady on the regional scene, which no shame in that. Then he goes on tough and loses there. Joins the UFC, and he's 1-3, getting finished in all 3 of his fights. His style, didn't want to reuse the what does he do here because he has won a fight, so I won't get on too much. He's a lengthy guy that can do some good work from range and deliver with some power, I guess. But outside of that, he's a total victim. Bad defensively with a bad chin and not a very good ground game. My prediction for this one, I'll take Vlasto to get it done via round 1 KO. This should actually be pretty fun. Chepo round 1 KO is minus 125. Just for those of you wondering, I don't know how many people are really seeing the betting value in this outside of me telling you about it. But just to give you an idea where this fight's headed. We got a minus 125 on somebody round 1 KOing. So there's that. I think Vlasto should just be able to walk him down and do what he's done in his last 2 fights. Find a finish early. Urbina's chin is pretty bad, and he's always struggled against pressure. The fight to end in a KO at minus 450, if Urbina is able to pull something off, I think it'll be via KO because he has some power as well of his own. But yeah, this one should be pretty straightforward. Again, I don't see this one being a boring fight. Not a super interesting fight, but it's not going to be boring. So I'll take Chepo to get it done via round 1 KO. Maybe not on the right order here, but definitely on the main card. Dusko Todorovic versus Robert Valentin. Dusko, he went 8-0 and became a champ on the Serbian regional scene. Got a win and a contract on the Contender Series as well. Then he joins UFC, and so far he's been a win-loss guy. Struggled after a knee injury, had like 2 or 3 losses in a row, and then gets a much-needed round 1 finish in his most recent fight. His style, likes to keep the fight in close, uses the clinch and control grappling to do so. Feints a lot on the feet. Not the most durable guy and tends to typically get hit a lot if he's not able to take the fight to the mat. His opponent, Robert Valentin, went 10-3 on the regional scene, goes on tough, and then loses in the final round to Ryan Loder. Loses his first couple of fights in the UFC in 2 like drastically extreme matchups. He had Torres Finney where he just kind of got wrestle fucked, and then he faced Tebe Gautier where he got finished in round 1. 2 guys that if you have glaring holes in certain aspects of your game, you will get exposed, and that ended up what happened to Robert Valentin. But in his most recent fight on the Canada card, he got a win, a round 1 finish, a submission, making him 1-3 in the UFC. Also got on the mic and said some pretty cool stuff afterwards. Made me a little bit of a fan of him. His style, crafty grappler with good submission ability, but will struggle defensively against stronger guys. Does not usually spend a lot of time on the feet. Typically takes the fight to the mat pretty easily. He's faced guys that are willing to do that outside of his fight with the Tebo where he was standing for a minute and got finished. My prediction for this one, not sure why. Actually, I mean, I'm sure why. I know why. It's a close fight, but I will take Robert Valentin to get it done via round 2 sub. I think Valentin just has better sub game. Dusko Todorovic is going to welcome this fight to the mat, and I don't think that's what he should be doing. Robert Valentin does have pretty good sub defense. If Dusko can win sooner with offensive grappling positions, I think he can take it. But Valentin just seems to be a little bit better there, so I wouldn't be surprised, even if he is on his back, for him to maybe pull a reversal, maybe, threaten with his guard in some way to kind of win the grappling exchanges. Dusko's going to have to get out to an early start, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. I'll take Robert Valentin to get it on via round 2 sub. His money line is the favorite, minus 175, which I was a little bit surprised to see. But regardless, I think it's decent value, and the fight not to go the distance at minus 450, I think is the best bet overall. Close one for sure, but I'll take Valentin. Dare I say this is the fight I'm looking forward to watching the most the entire weekend. Any fight on the UFC card, I'd skip to watch this fight. Dakota Ditcheva versus Denise Kielholtz. Dakota Ditcheva, she's the face of the PFL. She is the best women's MMA fighter outside of the UFC. And if she was in the UFC, she'd be making a run to become one of the best women's MMA fighters in the world. She's a 15-0 American top team prospect with 13 finishes. If you guys have not seen her stuff, check her out. She's such a good personality. She has just every ounce of star in her. She is a complete star in the making. Her style, lengthy, lethal Muay Thai striker that does exceptionally well in the Thai clinch. Primarily a striker, but is a complete fighter with a wide range of weapons. The way she uses her knees and elbows like a Thai fighter, I mean, she is super dangerous and will hunt finishes when they arrive. Her opponent, Denise Kielholtz, came from a big kickboxing background before transitioning to MMA, where she's fought mostly in Bellator and PFL for the majority of her career. She's 9-5 MMA and coming off of 3 straight wins. Her style, a pretty patient one-dimensional kickboxer with pretty good toughness and experience, has good fight IQ as well. My prediction for this one, I'll take Dakota Ditcheva to get it down via round 2 TKO. Kielholtz can be tricky to just run through. She does have kickboxing experience. She knows what she's doing. But Dakota Ditcheva is also just another level. I wouldn't be surprised. She mentioned how she might, or kind of hinted how she might implement grappling to maybe try and make a statement. I wouldn't be surprised. Ditcheva has also, she's coming off of a pretty big layoff. This fight was originally scheduled for like a championship. I don't know how the PFL works, you guys. I don't watch that shit. She used to be champ. Now she's not. But she had an injury, so that's why she had to pull out of the original fight. So this is a rescheduling. She's mentioning how she might implement grappling, so there's a chance she maybe does that. Regardless, I think it's going to be an entertaining banger where she finds a finish. Keelholtz is good, like I said. She has experience, but she hasn't fought anybody nearly as dangerous as Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva. It's a shame that this is the matchup here for Ditcheva, and she's not getting a bigger opponent. I would love to see it be like Chris Cyborg, or maybe just sign her to the fucking UFC because she's one of the best women's MMA fighters in the world. Why are we not signing the best fighters in the world if you are the best fighting promotion in the world? It makes no sense to me. But regardless, I am super excited to watch this fight. This is going to be a banger. If you guys got nothing going on Friday night, like me, go ahead and check this one out. It'll be pretty fun. I'll take Ditcheva to get it done for round 2 KO. Okay, now we're going back to the UFC for their co-main event, which is Jan Blachowicz versus Navajo Stirling. Jan Blachowicz, he's a UFC legend, former light heavyweight champion of the world. It's been a rough stretch recently, though, only winning one fight in his last 5, going 1-2-2. He is 43, nearing retirement. He just had MCL surgery. He was supposed to fight Bogdan Guskov in a rematch of a fight that was a draw back at UFC 323. But obviously, Guskov stepped in last week for Khalil Roundtree. Now Sterling is stepping in right now to take this fight. The style of Jan Blachowicz, low-output kickboxer with very heavy hands, great low kicks, has shown durability time and time again, but it's definitely starting to slow down with age and just overall tread on the tires. You have to kind of wonder whether something is bound to give. His opponent, Navajo Stirling, he's a young, undefeated fighter from training out of City Kickboxing. Got an impressive KO win on the Contender Series and is 5-0 in the UFC, rattling off 2 finishes in a row, which is crazy because to start his career, that was kind of the issue, is he wasn't able to finish these fights. But he's collected 2 in a row, just won 5 weeks ago against Ian Cutelaba, so he's making a quick turnaround. Taking this fight on short notice, like I said, and this is a huge step up. His style comes from a kickboxing Muay Thai background, but has done a nice job of rounding out his game. And his fight against Ian Cutelaba, although I didn't think he needed to show it as much, he did show off great grappling skill, really good scrambling ability, gets hit, but also deals out his fair share of punishment, relying a lot on his athleticism. Not necessarily a power puncher, but maybe that's changing. Maybe he's developing better power. He is young and getting better. He is well-sized for the division as well. I do have questions about his fight IQ at times. His fight against Ian Cutelaba had me worried when it just shouldn't have. Instead of using his length and his build, he was implementing grappling when he just shouldn't have. So there's some questions there, but regardless, my prediction for this fight, I will take Navajo Stirling to get it done via decision. This is close. Jan Blachowicz is a really good fighter, a legend. It's just, I don't think he's got enough left to get it done against Navajo Stirling. This is a huge step up, though, for Navajo. He hasn't even fought in the rankings yet, and now he's getting the number 4 or 3 ranked light heavyweight in the world. I think Jan Blachowicz is deteriorating, and a guy like Navajo Stirling that's so athletic, it's just not a good matchup. If he's able to use his length, stay safe, not get hit by any of these, the power is the last thing to go. So Blachowicz always has a chance in any fight that he's in, but I am going to rock with Navajo Stirling. The fight to go over 1.5 rounds. Both of these guys are lower output. This could end up being kind of not a snooze fest, but maybe a snooze fest because these guys are lower output. It might not be the most entertaining thing to watch. The Stirling money line, though, at -320. I was surprised he was that big of a favorite, but I do understand the more I think about it. Good value there. Give me Navajo Stirling to get it done via decision. All right, now we're going back to the PFL for their main event over there. Usman Nurmagomedov versus Archie Colgan. Usman Nurmagomedov, he's the younger brother of Umar and the cousin of Khabib, 21-0 undefeated champion in the PFL that trains out of Team Eagle. This may be his final PFL fight. His contract's up after this fight, so we'll see if he ends up being retained by the PFL, staying over there, or if he comes to the UFC. That's probably what I anticipate happening. His style, he's a well-sized guy with very good submission ability. Does a good enough job on the feet to open up the rest of his game, but not really a threat as a striker. I will say, unlike his brother and other training partners, he actively hunts for submissions a lot better as opposed to relying on control grappling. His opponent, Archie Colgan, 31-year-old, 13-0 fighter, 6 decisions in his last 6 fights, has not had a finish in over 3 years. Probably why he's in the PFL. His style, stocky, relentless control wrestler, does not do a great job of overcoming a size disadvantage on the feet. Very underwhelming striker that almost never throws in combination, just kind of hopes to get the fight to the mat where he uses control grappling. My prediction for this one, I'll take Usman to get it done via round 2 submission. Usman's just on another level than pretty much everyone in the PFL, especially Archie Colgan. His money line is only -455, and I get it. Archie Colgan does have some pretty good wrestling skill, but Usman's just on another level. Submission-wise, I think he's better on the feet. He's much better. If he wants to keep it on the feet, I think he can. He has the takedown defense to do so. And even on the ground, I favor him there. This fight is also 5 rounds, and I think that benefits Usman a lot. He's used to fighting 5 rounds. He is a longtime champion in PFL. RJ Colgan can't really say the same thing. So I'll take it. Crazy enough, it's not. Usman is a lower favorite than Dakota in this one. I see it, I guess, but Usman at only minus 455 is kind of crazy. I love the value there. I'm going to take him to get a done via round 2 sub. Yes, I know you guys have been waiting weeks for this breakdown. Uroš Medić and D-Rod. It's finally here, you guys. It's finally here. The main event that we've been waiting for. Look, all jokes aside, I know this isn't the biggest name value-wise, and I know it's not very important rankings-wise. I don't really know where I was going with this. This is not a great main event. No way. I mean, no matter how you spin it. We're throwing out D-Rod for the main event. We couldn't get Leon Edwards to fight Uroš Medić. We got D-Rod fresh out of prison to show up for the main event. Disgusting. But regardless, I think it'll be a fun fight. Uroš Medić, he went 5-0 with 5 finishes, gets a win on the Contender Series via finish again. So far in the UFC, he's 7-3. He's pieced together 3 really good round 1 KO finishes, most recently against Jeff Neal in a fight where he was the underdog. Quite literally took the slime out of Jeff Neal's nose in a great win. He has never gone the distance in his entire UFC career, or his entire career period. And that is because of his style. He is a very dangerous striker with tons of power, but also very reckless and vulnerable. He moves well. He has good length. He has obvious great power. What he did to Jeff Neal is super impressive. If you know Jeff Neal, he doesn't get done like that. And for Uroš to do that was pretty crazy. He just has always had trouble with durability in the chin. He got chinned early against Gilbert Urbina. Didn't get finished, but got knocked down. And Gilbert Urbina is terrible. So it's a concern regardless. His opponent, D-Rod, joined the UFC back in 2020. Started his career 7-1. Then he goes on a 3-fight losing streak. Now he's back on the rise with 3 straight wins. He has spent the last 6 months of his life in a Tijuana prison. And I wish I was joking. Look it up. This guy was in jail in Mexico for taking a pencil eraser's worth of marijuana into Mexico from the United States. Not even the other way around. It's a crazy story. How has he been preparing for this? Has he been sparring against the Aryan Brotherhood or something in prison? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that was a bad joke, but it is a genuine concern of mine. How has he been preparing for this fight? He has been in jail for months leading up to this fight. His style, scrappy boxer that goes in and tries to outdog his opponent. Not very clean or technical on the feet, but has crisp hands and enough takedown defense to keep the fight standing. My prediction for this one, I'll take Uroš Medić to get a done via round 1 KO. Like I said, I'm just worried about D-Rod and his overall readiness for this fight. Uroš Medić is going to be in front of his home crowd. He'll be juiced up. Will he get too overzealous and get knocked out immediately? That's a possibility. It always is a possibility. 3 bets that I really like is a Uroš Medić round 1 KO at plus money is great. A D-Rod KO at plus 500 money is pretty good because Medić has always had trouble with his chin, like I've mentioned before. And the fight to go under 1.5 rounds at minus 190. Hint, for about 30 seconds in the future, that's going to be a parlay leg. I love that bet. But that's a great way with Medić round 1 KO and Rodriguez KO at both being at plus money. Throw some money on both. I don't hate either of those. But I think Medić will get it done in his home crowd. It'll be a pretty good moment. Maybe then he'll be able to fight Leon Edwards. I don't know. But I will take Uroš Medić to get it done via round 1 KO here. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I know it's been a bit of a long one. I've been struggling to get through it. It's been a long recording. I'm kind of starting to lose my voice a little bit. Been coughing and shit. But best bets, high value straight wise, I like an Elliott decision, Tybura KO, Medić round 1 KO, Rodriguez KO, and Vologdin money line. There are tons of great value bets hidden within this thing. Poppeck KO or money line. There's tons of stuff. If you go in and look just at the end, this is just what I like the most. And I think high value wise, you can put a low amount of money, get a potential high return. Parlay leg wise, there is no line on a Ditcheva finish, but whatever it is, I like the value. She's a minus 5,000 favorite, so it might be something crazy. I don't want to speak too soon, but as long as it's in the minus 800 range, I like it. Usman Nurmagomedov money line's pretty good there. And then UFC wise, I like Sterling money line, Medić D-Rod to go under 1.5 rounds, and a Milosevic KO and decision. We went 4-0 on the parlay legs last week. We'll see how well we do here. This is a tough card to feel super confident in. Maybe we'll end up doing pretty good. It does worry me, though. There are tons of fights where I can see the underdog completely shaking up the entire card and getting it done. We'll see how it plays out. Like I said, though, I am super excited for this Dakota Ditcheva fight on Friday. If you guys don't know her, or you at least just catch up with the highlights afterwards or something, check it out. It's going to be on ESPN. It's free, so anybody can watch it as long as you got ESPN. I'm most excited for that. That's kind of the whole reason why I wanted to make those two fights incorporated here. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys have. We'll see how we do. Like I said, I'm kind of up in the air on some of these, but I will be watching on Friday night, and then on Saturday night, maybe I'll make some fun parlays to kind of take me through the entire weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll try and get a recap out. I know I've missed the last 2 recaps. They haven't been super worth recapping, but I made the videos and everything for them. I just haven't posted them. I'll try and get this one out and recorded, and hopefully hear from you guys on Sunday. I'm getting this one out on Thursday early, so hopefully I'll have enough time to make another video, maybe a football video. We'll see. But thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you hopefully in a couple days. See ya.